Hey, we're back today. Glad that you decided to join us for our mini messages, and we're in Genesis chapter 39 today. It's a little better than 38, but not much, because now we're going to flash back to Joseph. We took this little break in 38 and talked about Judah, and now we're back to Joseph and what has happened to him after he was sold to the Ishmaelite traders as a slave, taken to Egypt, and sold again. So this is, once again, some dark, difficult stuff that we're seeing here. So let's dive in. Today, I just want to look at verse 1. Just one verse today. It says, when Joseph was taken to Egypt by the Ishmaelite traders, he was purchased by Potiphar, an Egyptian officer. Potiphar was captain of the guard for Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. Now, the name Potiphar itself means devoted to the sun. And one of the key parts of Egyptian worship was the worship of the sun. If I remember correctly, they referred to the god of the sun as Ra, if I remember exactly how this goes. So if I messed up on that one, sorry, but that's what's popping in my brain right now as I'm going. So this shows the importance of the religious system for the Egyptians in the naming of children. And so Potiphar falls into this. Now, he was an Egyptian officer. So Potiphar was a really important person. You know, Joseph wasn't sold to somebody of low standing. Potiphar is up the ladder. He is one of the guys that's as high as it gets. It was in this time a common practice for people of Potiphar's level to have access to Pharaoh, to have access to great wealth. He would have been he would have been a high level, bureaucrat, as we would think of it in our government today. He would have been in charge of a bunch of stuff, and maybe he would have been good at it, maybe he wouldn't have been, but there he was. He was in charge of it. And it even tells us specifically what he was in charge of. He was the captain of the guard for Pharaoh. So he would have had access to Pharaoh. He would have been wealthy. You can tell that from some of the things that we'll read a little bit later. And he was specifically the captain of the guard. So basically, he was the chief of the Secret Service. He protected the life of Pharaoh. He wasn't just a random guy walking around. He had a very important task. So from this point of view, I'm sure he knew Pharaoh, on probably a little bit more of a personal level. He would have been in his presence. He would have been around him regularly. And so this is an incredibly important person. And understanding this, every single thing that's happening to Joseph, none of it's by chance, right? The evil that men have intended for Joseph, God is taking it and beginning to use it and beginning to move it for his own good, for what he desires to happen. Even right now, he's planning ahead for a famine that's going to happen years from now. He's planning ahead for the protection of the nation of Israel, for the family of Jacob, so that they will be able to grow. He's planning ahead right now because he knows someday the Red Sea is going to need to part and we're going to Mount Sinai. All of this is taking place for a purpose. So Potiphar becomes a part of Joseph's life because God is positioning him where he wants him to be. God is sovereign. God is in control. God is over all of these things. And that should give us peace and comfort to know our God's in control. We'll see you again later.